eMmDeeKay says hello, welcome to episode 1 of eMmDeeKay says, let's play Minecraft. As the robot will be sure to remind you incessantly, I am eMmDeeKay. I certainly hope you enjoyed watching my world record speed run. The dragon was a tougher fight than usual, but I made it through alive. eMmDeeKay says I started playing on the seed with no intention of recording, but once the ideas started flowing I realized I really wanted to share what I was doing. So after doing some planning and layout in creative, was dealing with some motivational hurdles, starting over so many times that I lost count. One time because I found a strider that spawned with a saddle and suffocated myself in a low ceiling and lost everything in lava. One of my better self-inflicted deaths in Minecraft. I'm ready to get playing, and I'm tired of waiting. So I've gone ahead and collected the basics: iron, cobblestone, redstone, crops, different wood types. Found a jelly, and I brought it all back to this small cave on the coast and started setting up some quick manual farms. We've got lava, lichen, mushrooms, vines, sugarcane and bamboo, all of our veggies and even colored wool. But what I really need now is a reliable source of XP so I can get my enchanting table set up and get some better equipment going. Luckily, there's an exposed skeleton spawner right up here in this split in the mountain. It shouldn't take too much effort to turn it into a quick spawner farm. However, I'm not making it that easy on myself, although not really any harder. I'd like to turn this skeleton spawner into a stray farm so I can pick up arrows of slowness for absolutely no other reason other than I can. So for that I'm going to need powdered snow, which is fairly plentiful in the area, and honey blocks, and conveniently just down our coastline in this small flower biome we have 1, 2, 3 bees nests, which are staying right here for the time being until I get silk touch, but I'll be able to semi-AFK over here for a bit and should be able to get enough honey to do what I need. So I'm going to get the basics of the skeleton spawner together, dug out, and planned out accordingly, and once I have enough honey blocks to set it all up, I'll go ahead and show you what I have in mind. eMmDeeKay says so what I've done already is dug out our 9x9 around the spawner with an additional 2 blocks of depth so mobs fall out of the available spawning area. Then I placed water in each corner and dug out the remaining dry area. I dug out these 3 blocks here and a 3-high tunnel going back to a water column. Water column comes up and you can see here the basic idea of what I'm planning to do. The honey blocks will slow down the skeletons as they're being pushed through the powdered snow, giving them time to convert into strays. Now up here it's just for good measure, but down here, this line should be long enough to convert the vast majority. So we're just going to place our honey blocks, and then our soul sand, and our kelp going up to make a bubble column. Break the kelp, and place our powdered snow on the way out. Break these blocks to release the water. Close everything up, break the torch. And we should have skeletons falling any second. Success. Now there is a hopper underneath the enchanting table, but judging by how items flew in every direction, I think I'm going to have to make a slightly more involved collection system, so I'm going to get working on that, build a storage system for all of the drops, and try to make this area a little more visually appealing. I eventually want this whole crevice closed up, so I'm not too worried about how it looks, but just so it's presentable in the meantime. I'm going to get started on that, come back, show it off, and then there's one more thing left to do this episode. I added a dripstone farm, and got a goat. eMmDeeKay says so nothing too fancy here, more or less just covered things up and blended them in with the terrain. Keep it out of sight, out of mind and simple so I won't feel bad coming back to change things later. As standing on this pressure plate powers a rail that starts a hopper minecart to collect the drops. That feeds into a bubble elevator, which comes up here into your basic impulse SV item sorter. This chest here is so I can manually pick out and sort bows and good items, place them in the chest here, and when I'm done I just flick this lever and everything gets emptied into lava. eMmDeeKay says I'll probably get around to making safer paths to get up and down as time goes on and jumping gets annoying. but I'm going to call this project done enough for now so I can move on to the very last of the absolute basics we need in our world: villagers. I baited these two into the same house by using composters, and then stopped them from leaving by just placing a couple of trapdoors blocking the doorway. And that's already step 1 of our villager breeder done. Step 2, we remove this block underneath the window. Dig a hole. Place some water. Cobblestone. Trapdoors. Beds. And in theory this should be a working villager breeder. But this isn't exactly safe from the elements, so I'm going to dress it up to match the rest of the house. It's hideous. Then we just throw in a bunch of carrots. And wait for the magic to happen, and it doesn't work. Apparently they don't want to consider the window pane a clear path, but replacing it with a trapdoor here seems to have done the trick. With that running now, I'm going to start getting some of the existing villagers jobs, starting with this guy here. eMmDeeKay says just going to hit him with this potion of weakness, feed him a golden apple, block him in so he doesn't instantly become a fisherman. And after a few minutes, one fresh weaponsmith. He's already got coal as the first trade, which is exactly what we wanted, but what I'm really hoping for is iron, which will come in handy later once we have an iron farm. And there we go. Use a bit of our iron to get him up to trading diamond swords. And now we've got a fairly healthy supply of emeralds to get started trading for books, tools, and armor. Just need to move our guy here into his forever home. This is going to be a task. eMmDeeKay says now you may be asking, why start with a weaponsmith? Toolsmiths guarantee the iron trade, and there's much better trades available from other villagers. And the answer is simple. I wanted a guy with an eye patch to live in this cave. Let's get some books. eMmDeeKay says so good news, I've got a complete set of diamond tools and armor. All of my tools have decent enchantments and mending, including the bow. Normally I like to run infinity, but I think this go around I'm going to try and use tipped arrows just to be that little bit more powerful. Armor still needs work, but that's going to take some time. eMmDeeKay says 1.18 has definitely raised the difficulty. I've never felt the need for a shield before, but there's been multiple times where I've found myself in a cave getting completely swarmed from multiple directions, and being able to block incoming hits has definitely proven its usefulness. Bad news, eye patch didn't make it. I thought if there was double carpets he wouldn't be able to pathfind, but he found a way. I found him wandering around loose twice. I did my best to find a way to make him more secure without messing up the aesthetic, but the third time he got out I couldn't find him. I'm not giving up on having a weaponsmith down here though, just not today, and probably not tomorrow either. I really hope you enjoyed episode 1. Episode 2 I'll be building our starter base and getting started on automation. As much as I love these little manual farms I built here, it's really the pits. So if you want to see what I do next, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss it. But before I end the video, there's one last absolutely essential thing you need at the start of every Minecraft world: the gems.